And our special guest is Kansas Senator Jerry Moran. Senator, thanks for taking a few moments to join us.
Ken, good to be with you and with our viewers and listeners. Great to spend some time. I wish that the news was better in the ag world.
Well, let's talk about all those things. And you spent a lot of time during this COVID-19 situation trying to bring some relief to Kansas farmers and ranchers. And it seems like we're making some progress, but there's just an awful long way to go.
Absolutely. I mean, going back to when Congress and the Senate in particular was in session, I teamed up with a handful of my ag colleagues in the Senate to insist that before we passed phase 3, that it would include money for support of farmers and ranchers, and particularly the livestock sector. Ultimately, we were successful in getting $19 billion into a program that USDA has announced and is in the process of putting an application in front of farmers and ranchers. We particularly were interested in livestock because that's not a normal farm program. That's not a normal place that USDA looks. And in many instances, livestock producers are ones who generally tell you, we don't want anything to do with government. But things were so severe, so challenging that there was a demand and a need for help, and we were successful in including specifically livestock in the program. And the Secretary Perdue, has announced a program that includes some dollars for livestock along with specialty crops and dairy. And so we're anxious to see what that looks like. And there are a lot of challenges. You say we have a long way to go. It's not enough money, and we have certainly concerns with payment limitations when it comes to livestock producers.
We'll talk about that. Will that be successful? Because it doesn't take too long to get to that $250,000 cap, even though many folks are saying that should be enough. But there's concern about that. There's concern about some of those dollars and all those dollars going directly to the producer.
Ken, of course, it will. I think the estimates are a $13 billion loss in the country. I doubt that those numbers are current. $5 billion on the $13 billion on the beef side, and $5 billion on the pork side. And with the challenges we face with the processing of meat, the slaughter of meat, and packing, we have significant problems. And I would guess those numbers are now outdated. So not enough money, but also if you apply payment limitations to the livestock sector, usually and normally in a farm bill, payment limitations, because the farm programs apply to crops, there's a payment limitation. And the challenge here is that's very few cow-calf pairs, very few cattle on feed. If you put $125,000 per commodity cap on that payment. And in a sense, while $125,000 is never a lot of money, it's always a lot of money is the way to say that. It's always a lot of money. In this case, it wouldn't go very far in trying to solve the huge challenges that the livestock producers face today.
U.S. Senator Jerry Moran is our guest. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back and talk more in just a moment.